The notion of a riverine tour of the Sarstoon, led by the Belize Defense Force, is nothing more than wishful thinking. On October 23rd, the Ministry of National Security announced on its social media page that guided excursions into the southernmost reaches of the country would be held in the coming weeks. The scheduled trips would serve as an opportunity for Belizeans, particularly those that are not members of the armed forces, to acquaint themselves with the location.
It is an initiative that the Honorable Minister of National Security, the Honorable Chancellor Deaver, came up with. We want to, the purpose of the excursion is for us to afford our people an opportunity to have first-hand knowledge of the area around the Sarstoon and Grasses Dios, so that whenever there are any conversation activities that will occur there, that our people will be well informed and they would know precisely what we are talking about in terms of the activities or incidents that may occur in that area.
It's an idea that had been previously attempted by the Belize Territorial Volunteers in May 2016, one that was met with fierce resistance on both sides of the Sarstoon River at the height of tension between Belize and Guatemala over access to that area. Not only was legislation hastily passed to prohibit the BTV from traveling upstream, their vessels were also arrested in Barranco prior to departure.
We received information yesterday that the Coast Guard will be required to conduct safety and security operations somewhere between Punta Gorda and Barranco. We understand that the BTV had plans to depart Barranco in vessels. This is the Coast Guard responsibility to ensure that those vessels were seaworthy. We commenced operations this morning. So far we have detained 3 vessels, all for maritime safety offences. Those 3 vessels were detained and taken back to Punta Gorda.
That incident surrounded the passage of the controversial Sarstoon Law, which banned travel within the area for a period of 1 month, under threat of public safety. So, when the ministry announced last Tuesday that it was leading its own excursion upriver, we asked CEO George Lovell about the decision.
Isani, you would agree that the situation at the time when that SI was passed was one that we can argue that warrants that SI to be passed. The area, there was a volatile situation there where clearly there were confrontation from an armed opposition, and we thought that at the time that it would have been, in our mind, not a good idea for us to have our civilian being between both of our military forces as we try to come to the kind of amicable agreement to deal with our differences that we have along the Sarstoon. Having the civilians going in between that would have just made life extremely challenging for us. And so we had to do what we do then.
And one would assume that in the absence of a resolution, or at least a protocol, that the area would remain off-limit to civilian traffic, notwithstanding BDF escort.
How does this fit in with the Minister of National Security's? I believe he gives a guided tour downriver.
I'm not. That hasn't come to cabinet, and so I'm not too sure that we are au fait with all the details. If the minister has announced a guided tour, I'm sure he absolutely knows what he's about. But I would withhold comment until cabinet can talk about this tomorrow.
As chairman of National Security Council, isn't that a security issue?
No doubt, but I haven't chaired a meeting of the National Security Council for a while because I haven't been here. We're having one, I think, next week. But National Security Council apart, the cabinet surely will want to know what's up with this notion, what the details are, and so there will, without a doubt, be a discussion tomorrow.
News 5 understands that the issue was discussed in Cabinet today, at which point the idea was rejected. Reporting for News 5, I am Isane Cayetano.